Today we're going to paint some lanterns for Valentine's Day. Normally you would paint lanterns for Martinmas, but since we're shooting this 2 days before Valentine's Day, we're going to make our lanterns for Valentine's Day instead. Jacob, would you go and start the bathtub for me so that we can soak our paper? Ellie, will you go and put the bank paper in the water? And Harry is going to come with me and we're going to prepare the paint. And you get water for everybody. Usually I keep my paint ratio at 1 part paint, 1 part water, but you can really play with it and decide what works for you. Today, since we're just fiddling around with things for Valentine's Day and making probably some cards and some lanterns, we're just going to use red. And I prefer the Stockmar paint. You can buy it in the 3 basic colors, red, yellow, and blue. And you can really mix anything that you need from that. This is circle red. We also use circle blue and circle yellow. But we also, in our handy dandy IKEA tin, have all of the other colors. But to be completely honest with you, I didn't use any of these colors until we'd been painting for quite some time. So it is perfectly acceptable to just start with the basics. And a bottle like this will last your family, probably depending on how many children you have and how often you paint. We try to paint every week. It doesn't always happen, but this will last us a year or more. This is a really good size to start with, and you can see how much smaller it is, and you'll get a lot of use out of this as well. And like I said, I like to mix it and have it all mixed. I keep it in the fridge after I mix it up, and that way it stays pretty fresh. And you can mix it in larger quantities. I know some people that mix it in mason jars, and that's really helpful depending on the size of your family. And then what I do is when we sit down to paint, so that we don't have cross-contamination of colors with the young kids and stuff, I just use these easy little pots that we then will put the paints in. When it comes to your paintbrushes, you know, I'm not an expert at this. I've not been teaching Waldorf painting for many years. But just for our family, we've gone ahead and just really experimented with what we liked. We started with the fat Waldorf 1-inch kindergarten paintbrushes, and those are the ones that we still use the most. Those are the ones that we give to the younger children. And then as the children have gotten older, we've graduated to some that have a little bit smaller of a tip on them. And you do want to make sure that it's a natural bristle brush. Thank you, Harry. Here are some of the other brushes that we've had. We have quite a selection, but really my favorite brushes are still these big ones. These were the original ones that we bought from Mercurius. We bought these probably 8-9 years ago, and we still have them, and they're still in great shape. And if you're really careful with the tops of them and you teach your children how to take care of them, then they'll last you. Welcome to our 1947 bathroom. It's not been updated, but this is where we do a lot of preparation for painting. And as you can see, the children do a lot of it themselves. I have them fill the tub, I have them put the paint paper in, and you can really soak the paint paper as long as you feel like you need to. It really depends. Some teachers like to soak it for up to 30 minutes. And we generally don't soak it that long because we're not using the top quality paint paper. We're using the mid-grade paint paper. And the rag content really is what determines how long you want to soak it. If you soak it too long and it's not a great quality paint paper, then it will fall apart on you. So there you go. There's one for you. Hey, who's next? Do you want one? Do you want to paint? Do you want to paint, Samuel? Do you want to paint board? Okay, let's get you one. Oh, did you get wet? These paint boards are really inexpensive. Again, this is something you can get from Mercurius and other online retailers. We'll be carrying these in the fall with our kits. But really, all this is masonite board. And if you go to a place like Home Depot, they usually have it in big sheets, masonite or plexiglass, and you can ask them to cut it down for whichever size you generally use the most with regards to your paint paper. Here you go.
That was one color.
Okay, gentle. Gentle. Okay, Samuel's gonna paint. He likes to play with all the paintbrushes and he really likes to put them in his mouth. So we have to remind him to be really careful. Yep, here, you've got some right here. Could you use this one? Use this one, be gentle. The great thing about the kindergarten brushes is even though we have to remind them to be gentle, they can take a beating. Again, the white-handled ones are fairly old. We've had them for several years, and all of the children have learned on them. So even though you want to promote proper technique, you also don't need to be completely stressed about it the whole time. And we're just doing lanterns today, so I'm just encouraging them to fill the page, and then we're going to cut them up and make them into lanterns later. You can always tell when a child is using too much pressure, and it's very common with younger children because you can see that on Samuel's picture here, he's used a lot of the edges of the paintbrush, and so it really has really made a dent in a lot of the paint or the paper grain itself.
Mommy, we forgot something.
What did we forget?
We forgot aprons.
We did. We usually wear paint aprons, don't we? We don't
Well,
have them
I
on
can't
today.
forget mine.
We don't have them on today.
We're more careful though.
Let's just be careful today. We've got a lot of water on here, Samuel. We might have to wait
Whoa.
till it dries a little bit. Yeah, I am fun. Be gentle with that paintbrush. Remember the gnome? And this is his beard. And he only wants to be in one color at a time. And he wants you to be really gentle with his beard because he doesn't like it when you hurt him.
Oh.
Mom, I'm going to draw an X. What happens if we put some white on this page?
Pink. Mommy.
You think it'll turn pink?
Yeah. Whoa, look at your
Yeah, look at the print that you made on there though.
Watch Mommy.
Samuel's still pretty young to be painting. He usually paints when we paint with the other children. Are you done? Or we'll paint for our lesson work when he's taking a nap. But it is perfectly okay to let them paint with you. The Stockmore paints are non-toxic, but that doesn't mean that we should let them eat them and put them in their mouth. So we usually, like that. So we usually try to get him cleaned up as quickly as we can after he's done. And I think you're done.
Yes.
Is it all over your hands?
I'm
Should we get you cleaned up?
wash his hand every.
We are back with our paintings that are all dry. And we're going to make lanterns. And I love the really simple lantern ideas in A Child's Little Treasury. So we use this book a lot. And so what we're going to do is everybody take the paper that's yours. We are the shortest person because he is taking a nap. So we'll make him a lantern and set it aside for him for later. The trick with these lanterns is you want them to be big enough around to hold your tea light, and I also put some rocks in the bottom of it as well, so it kind of stabilizes it. But you don't want it to be so deep that it's hard to stick your hand in to light your tea light. And so it's kind of this like fine area of getting it perfect. So you guys try to keep your two circles that you're making next to each other, so that we can use the top half of the paper for the lantern, okay?
But not too close, like an inch.
It could be really close. It could be really close. The reason why we're cutting two circles is one will go on the inside of the lantern, and then so that you have a little bit of reinforcement, we'll put another one on the outside on the bottom. And in all the times that we've made this, we've really found that really helps keep everything together and helps us to have fun when we're on our lantern walk.
Okay, how do you do this? Just cut it like this.
Let's cut out your circles.